Alright, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are having a nice day. I'm doing pretty chill. So, today, I thought it'd be a little cool, since I haven't done it yet. I give you guys a rundown about animals I keep and how I keep them. So, I may do a couple feedings, probably on my animal or more on that, and definitely updates on certain animals. But for right now, what I'm gonna just do is just give you mainly the basics of what I have. So I have snakes. I have from ball pythons to corn snakes to king snakes, and a milk snake. I do breed rats, mice. I do super worms. I'll show you guys how I set them up and how I do the breeding for them. I do keep iguanas now. Unfortunately, I used to not ever think about it, but for certain circumstances, I kept two as pets. I'll show you guys what I do. Part time for fun. Me and a friend, we go down South Florida, and we catch the invasive baby iguanas. Usually, people kill the big ones, but we don't like killing them. So what we do is we'll catch a bunch of them, bring them back to where we're staying, and what we'll do is we'll post them on Craigslist and stuff like that for people to buy, but at really low prices. For us, it's more of just being able to help out the environment, and if the animals can dodge the bullet literally and go to good homes, that's all that really matters, because I don't like killing them. So it's better than them getting big and just getting shot by whoever deals with managing the invasive species. So every life that can be saved is a life, or can put a smile on someone's face. So without mumbling too much, I'm gonna show you guys around all the animals and stuff. I do have some iguanas in a cage in here because it was cold outside. I used to keep them outside. So they look lethargic right now. Probably not going to show them, but it's just because they were really cold. So I got a heat lamp on them, and it looks kind of messy in here because I moved them really quick. So without further ado, let's just get into it, I guess. So we'll start over here at the snakes, because that's probably the coolest part about the entire thing. Let's see. This is Jasper. I have it set up funky, so I try to do it as easy as possible. So if I have to leave and someone take care of my animals, I have a logbook. So it has the animal's name, morph, sex, and this weird thing is pretty much all that says. This is the 6th day of the week, so that's how they know feeding. So if they see that, all they got to do is go into the book, look under feeding, and they'll see this under each name, so they'll know what day to feed. So this is Jasper. He's an albino male corn snake. I believe he's about 2 years old. He was my very first snake, and he is such a sweetheart. Right, buddy? He's the sweetest animal. If you're thinking of getting a snake, first time snake, ball pythons are nice, but corn snakes are nicer. Plus, I just feel like it's just a personal preference. I don't like pythons as much as I do colubrids. I just think colubrids are fantastic. This other child is a hypo sunburst. I have not named him yet because he's a little firecracker. He'll rattle his tail like he's a rattlesnake and try to bite you, but he's really beautiful. Alright, that's enough of him. So this is my rack. This is just a quick put together. I'm gonna build a professional grade one in the near future, but for my snakes it was just about the space, and I had them in tubs, so I was just like, let me just throw something together real quick. Probably took me an hour to build because I built it wonky, but it works for me. It's solid, won't move, and it'll hold my snakes the way I want them. This is Bruno. He's a banana albino California king snake. Male, but if you couldn't tell by the name. He is a ham. And also a handful when he's ready. Because he has a wicked feeding response. Oops. Forgot he did that. So that's Bruno. And I only keep them on paper towels and newspaper because I like to make sure they're pooping right. For me, I usually keep a lot of animals on like Eco Earth, different stuff like that, but I noticed that for me to keep for me to keep up with their health properly, I like keeping them on toilet paper, newspaper, paper towels like that, because it makes me see how they're pooping, they're using the bathroom, making sure everything's going okay. So when they're starting to go in shed, I'll get a little rock, I'll set it in their cage so they have something to rub up against. But other people have other preferences, but that's just how I do it. This is Houdini. He gets it that name, he lives up to it. I don't know how he gets out of his cage, but he does. This is the Houdini. He's a Sonolan milk snake male. And he is actually the first snake I've ever owned that actually took food out of my hands and ate it in my hand, which I thought was pretty cool. This next snake is Daisy. She is a butter motley corn snake. She's really small, so I'll just pick her up. She's a butter motley corn snake. Very beautiful. Hopefully, she and the hypo sunburst, when they get up to size, I'm hoping going to breed them. And I think I did my research right. She is a double recessive, and he, I believe, is just recessive. But I think I did my research, and I believe I can get leucistic from that pairing. Just so you guys know, ball pythons are all rescues because I don't usually do ball pythons. So this guy has a weird story. So I got him from a buddy that does a small rescue over in close to Orlando, Central Florida. And this guy, he got this guy from someone that never had the care correct. He has never had a complete shed since they got him as a baby. When the guy got him, he pulled off probably 6 or 7 different stuck eye caps, and unfortunately he can't breed anymore. I'll show you in a second, but he's a beautiful male albino ball python, and his tail, his cloaca, is messed up. It's really swollen, and it looks, I believe it's like, so I had to exvert his hemipenes because there was stuck shed in his cloaca, so I had to exvert his hemipenes to get all the stuck shed that had somehow gotten in there. And when I did so, it looked like his hemipenes had ingrown scales on them. If anyone can help me figure out what is that, I would appreciate it so much. Because I just been treating them simple. To get down most of the swelling, I just put a little antibiotics, just triple antibiotics, rub it around his cloaca, make sure his cloaca is clean. I keep him on high humidity because he has had shedding problems. I soak him every 2 days. Every 2 days I soak him. And he's been doing a lot better. He hasn't eaten for me yet, and I've had him for 2 weeks. It's very weird. So if anyone has any ball python people have any idea of that, I appreciate the help, because I want to make sure it's not going to kill him. But he's very, very sweet. I mean, that kind of stuff upsets me, because why would someone get such a gorgeous animal and just neglect it? And she just spilled her water. Delightful.
This is a female spider ball python. It's also a rescue. I got her from a buddy that got her in a trade. She was kept as a pet for like 6 years, and she came in really underweight. I mean, seriously underweight. She was probably like 200-300 grams, just really underweight for her size. And I had to beef her up a little bit. She's still not doing the greatest, but she's doing a lot better. She's been eating a lot better. Alright, now, since we got through with all the snakes, move over to the other side of the room. I'm going to do an update on the iguanas and the Russian tortoise that have somehow coexisted. There was just a winter home for the Russian, but her and the iguanas actually hang out together. I have a picture of them sitting on top of each other. I'll try to put it in the video if I can. I'll try to put in the picture. You'll see it if it's there. So right now, since the iguanas are babies, I keep them in a 55, only because I want them to be able to get used to me coming to the cage every morning to feed them. Now I'm at a point to where if they're hungry and they don't have food, they'll pace the front of the cage so that I can feed them. I don't know what morph he is. He looks like a green iguana, but I don't think he is because he has these dull colors. And that's his all the time color. He's fired up right now and he is so dark. The female Russian down there, she's a sweetheart. They ate a little bit ago. I don't know where the other iguana is, but if I had to guess, he'd probably in that cork tube because that's his favorite spot. The only reason I chose to keep these iguanas, so when we went out and caught a bunch of babies, we weren't intending to catch iguanas, but it was just a thing that happened and we caught a couple. So I sexed him for sure. He had where his foot got bit or cut by something, and he got his index and middle toe on his back right foot got bit. They died and just kind of fell off and amputated itself. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep the man since he's pretty cool. He has good colors and he's a sweet personality. He'll come up to the glass. He'll lick the glass. I try to handle him, but as of right now, because they're still fresh, I don't want to handle them too much. The other iguana, on the other hand, she is far different. Her and the Russian tortoise are best friends. She has an amputated foot. We caught her and she only had 3 legs and half of her tail was gone. And her tail had started growing back and she looked really messed up. But she is the boss of this enclosure. She literally will sit on the Russian tortoise's back and the Russian will walk over to the food when I put the food in it and they will both eat, and she will stay on top of this Russian and eat the greens. It's hilarious. Also, this setup right here, all of this wood except the cork tube is recycled out of the lake in the back. I pulled it out of the lake and dry it out, and it has this cool textures from where it was decomposing. I put this plant in here just for a little aesthetics, and it looks nice. And the bedding is all cypress mulch, dried cypress mulch, because when you buy cypress mulch from Lowe's and stuff like that, the mulch is usually humid. So what I do is I set it in a pan or a big flat container, spread it out and set it in the sun for like a day or two before I use it. And that's pretty much that on the iguana setup, which I think is pretty cool. Over in here, they won't come out, but I have They're called Rexes. They're a variant of hairless mice, and they look like a peach, as much as I can describe. I'll try to put a picture up. I don't know if I'll be able to find one, but if not, I'll try to take a picture of one. Next, it's a lot. So when we were cleaning out in here, caught a little rat. So I was like, you know what? Toss him in the thing. I'm not gonna show you him because if I try to open the thing, he's probably gonna jump into my face and try to eat my face. But we're gonna move on from that. We're gonna go to superworms. So I have approximately 1,000 or more right at the moment. But I keep my superworms in an old mouse rack I had. I thought it was cool. I was thinking of just throwing it away, but I was like, I have a Savannah monitor and he eats bugs like freaking crazy, and I don't want to spend $50 a month or more in just superworms. So this is the rack. It's six 12 quarts containers. So this is gonna eventually be a full-on superworm rack. I only have 2 tubs of mice just because I needed the extra tubs from the rat rack because I had a bunch of babies pop. And so we have the Beetles here. Not the musician, the Beetles. It's just the superworm Beetles. And they're doing their thing. And hopefully in the future I can have 2 tubs Beetles, 2 tubs large, and 2 tubs grow out. The last one on the bottom is superworms as well. These 2 with the bottles are mice, and you get the gist of it. So I'm gonna move over to this right here. I have breeders in here. I have breeders in here. I have holdbacks in here. And down here I have Siamese Dumbo Rexes, and they're chilling right here. Come here, kids. So they're super duper awesome, and they're the sweetest. I find it funny, once you handle rats from pups and you interact with them a lot, like these guys, they know when it's me. They can hear my voice, even though they're feeders. They know it's me. They'll come in here, they'll play with my hands, they'll wrestle with me. Their rats are so affectionate. Every night I come in here and I watch these tubs, these smaller ones. They'll be tossing each other around, be fighting. It looks like they're hurting each other, but it's like having puppies. They literally just play with each other. Up here, superworm setup. If you're gonna breed a lot of superworms to supply, like I have a lot of friends that have geckos and stuff like that, and they're like, hey, can you breed superworms? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm already breeding rats, why not? So what I did is containers. You can never ever go wrong with having too many containers. Trust me on that. They come in handy for everything. Mixing food, storing stuff, everything. I have 2 sifters just so I can separate the frass from their feed. I do it probably every 2 weeks to a month. And this middle drawer here is just a tackle box where I separate out the worms to turn them into beetles. Once they get into pupas from here, I move them down, and then I just fill that container back up so I have a consistent supply of pupa. Always have a thermometer in the room. I have a temp gun for each cage. Check all the temperatures, and what I do is just keep that thermometer up there so that I can just tell the temperature of the room, because I can control the temperature in here if I know the temperature, and I can control the temperature in each individual cage. Like these ball pythons, you think I showed you that temperature and their temperature is not that. Their cage is 80. Their 2 specific enclosures for just those ball pythons are 80 degrees at the minimum. And they do have the chance to move away from it go to warm up. So usually in here it stays about 80, but today it's down to 67, just because it got really cold outside and the garage door was cracked and I forgot about it. But everyone has heat, so they're all fine. Now that we got that, let's move on to Bruce's cage. Not Batman. He's not Batman. He's a dick. He likes to try to eat your freaking face when you don't have food. Alright. Bruce. I don't he's probably hiding, but this is his cage. Yeah, he's sleeping for sure. I wish he'd come out. Bruce. Where are you, buddy? Here, hold on. Let me set this up and see if I could entice him real quick. Bruce. Come here. What are you? Oh, he's sleeping. Well, you guys know what Bruce looked like if you've watched any videos on the channel. I'm not gonna bother him too much more than I already have. I lifted his cage up a little bit and saw he was sleeping. I do have hissing roaches, but they're gonna be going out to new homes pretty soon, so I don't really gonna show them. I have a tarantula. I couldn't believe I got it myself. She is actually burrowed up right now, but I'll give you a shot of her cage. This is her little setup for now. She's really young. So she's a Costa Rican striped knee tarantula, and pretty soon I'm gonna set her up in a nice 10-gallon, cool plants, bunch of cool stuff like that. But pretty much that's just a rundown of the animals. A quick run through what I have. I'm gonna do a video on how I prepare my rat food. Everyone says use Rat Lab. BS. I make probably 60 pounds of food. I can fill that barrel with $20. 20. And all I did was go to Rural King. I don't know, or like you could go to Tractor Supply and get the same things that I do. But I'll show you guys how to do that. And people breeding rats. If you have a Tractor Supply, a Rural King, or a feed store, or where you can get bedding for horse, because horses don't do good on pine, so usually they try to stay away from pine for horses. So this is, it's upside down. Hold on, give me a sec. This is called Beck's Better Bedding, and it's 100% natural crushed cobs. So corn cobs, they use just the cob, like when they scrape off the corn to make chick feed and stuff like that. They'll use the cobs, bake them, break them down into small pieces so they're like small chunks, and I found it's the best thing for rats. Hardly any dust, and even if it does have dust, it won't bother them because it's corn related, which is heavy compared to like pine dust and stuff like that. That the minute air hits it, it floats. The dust from this sets to the bottom of the cage when they walk, so it doesn't dust up. And I actually got the advice to use this from another local breeder. Best thing I've ever done in my life. Retains smell incredibly well. Incredibly well retained smell. I only change the tubs. I clean them out once a week, and you hardly have that smell. The only problem I have is mice don't do good on it, because mice stink. If you're gonna breed, don't think because mice are smaller they smell better. Mice are disgusting. Way worse than rats. Rats are way cleaner. They'll bury their poop. Believe it or not, they were like cats. They'll bury their poop. Mice, piss, poop, anywhere in the cage. They're disgusting. But try that. It's called Better Bedding. They should sell it at feed stores and stuff like that. It's just a little trick to finding the best bedding, because everybody says it's controversial where pine is. You got the pellet bedding. The pellet bedding is expensive. It's crazy how much people spend on that. People suggest a bunch of different things, and I just found it that's the best. For me, I can get a 50-pound bag for $6. So I mean, it works fantastic. The rats don't mind it, and sometimes there's even corn still stuck on the cobs, so it's free corn for the rats to nibble on, and it doesn't have any real toxic additives, and it works fantastic. Controls the smell amazing. It's like a dang sponge, and it just works amazing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got a little something from the tips. I'm gonna keep doing some more videos on certain things like that. Like I'm gonna do specific animals care. I'm gonna show you guys how I build my racks and how I set up my rats, take care of them, make the food. I'll do all of that. I'll show you how I do my snake stuff. I'll just bring you guys along pretty much on my daily routine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all in the next one, which is pretty soon. So stick around.